So one thing that's hard for authors in this part of the process is that it can be very quiet all of a sudden, especially if they've been going back and forth with their agent a lot as the agent has been trying to sell the book to a publisher. And so there's been a lot of communication, a lot of things have been happening. Maybe we've been having Zoom calls with publishers, or whatever. So finally we get it sold. And now all of a sudden it's dead silence. And the author's kind of like, oh, this is a little scary. So then a lot of times, so if you are with a big five publisher, at that point, it can take a month to 6 weeks before we even get the contract. So during that time, if you're an anxious person, you are writing your agent every other day going, have we gotten the contract yet? Do you think they're going to cancel the book? We don't even have a contract yet. And do you think they changed their mind? Because the big five publishers are so slow. So eventually they will get the agent the contract. So now your agent is reviewing the contract and going back and forth with the publisher on negotiations, and you're still sitting over there going, okay, usually the agent will at least be updating you. Okay, I'm working on the contract. Then eventually the publisher will send it to the author for electronic signing. So now they finally have a signed contract. And then you're either going to be writing the book if it's nonfiction because you don't have a completed manuscript yet, or you're going to be entering into the editorial process. So that means now your editor has it. Now you're waiting for the editor to get back to you with editorial notes. So there's this long period where you're in writing, you're in editing, you are having intermittent communication with your publisher, and your agent is now kind of hanging out over there on the side just for if you need them, but they're not necessarily going to be reaching out because you're kind of in the publisher's hands now, but your agent is just there if you need them. So you're going through the process. Your editor is now your main contact, and your agent is there if you don't understand what's going on, or you have a question, or you have a problem.
I genuinely always love these conversations because for authors, it feels sometimes like it's isolated. Like you wrote the book and you're trying to figure everything out, but you realize how much of a team is behind making a book get onto the shelves. Like, as you said, you got everything from the literary agent to the line editor, to the copy editor, to the editor, to the publisher, to, the book sellers that want to put your book out there, to finally us as the reader getting the copy. So it's always really cool just to see those publishing days because you see how much work is put into these books to really, for us to really see these stories in full.
Yeah, and I've worked with so many authors, and after I had been doing it for a while, and I saw how kind of confusing it could be for authors, because there's this long period of time. It's usually a year and a half, where their book is at the publisher, but their book has not released yet. And there's long periods of silence. There's long periods of not hearing anything. So I actually created a whole 1 hour workshop where I teach people, here is what's going on at your publishing house during that whole year when you feel like you're just sitting there all alone. Here are all the things the publisher is working on your book at all these different stages. And you see that, just like you said, there's so many people there who are working specifically on your book. They're working on the title, they're working on the cover art, they're working on the marketing materials. They're getting everything done. And meanwhile, you're sitting at home going, I'm just all alone here. But there's a lot of people working.
If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookupapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.